before this like mental skills, every time I would like step on the field, I would get like really mad if I made a mistake. And I was just like didn't know what to do when I got injured. I like thought like it was over. So I think my biggest thing is that like don't get frustrated with yourself and that like mistakes happen and like you can do anything.
Mhm. Like if that moment happened again, what would be like your new way of moving through it? Like how would you coach yourself through it or like what perspective would you take? Like if you could go back and do it again with what you know now.
Well, now like I know that I can get through it because like I never really had a big injury like that, so I didn't really know like what would happen. I think now that I know like what happens, I'll be like a lot better with handling at it.
How did you define success for yourself prior to this? And how do you think you will be defining success as you get out onto the field here in the spring?
Well, I think before I defined success by like scoring goals, not messing up at all, and like making my defender fail. But now I think I define success by like giving my counterpart like a hard time and basing it off like controllable objective.
Do you think that kind of just sports culture like sets us up to doubt a little bit, even though we are all different people?
Yeah, I think like the NWSL, they're like drafting like 15-year-olds. So I
Hmm.
think that like definitely is putting like a lot of pressure on girls who like want to
Yeah.
become really good soccer players. Like they're skipping high school for soccer. And I thought it was like crazy to skip college for soccer. So I think that like puts a lot of pressure.
Hmm. It does. It's just kind of that whole environment, right? And it doesn't even matter kind of what level we're playing at. There's all this pressure. What was your confidence based off before? What did your confidence look like? What is your confidence based off now? What does your confidence look like?
I think before my confidence was based off like if I scored or if I like did mess up or if other people told me I did good. But now I think I can base my confidence off like controllable objectives and things that I like can actually control.
Are you more in charge of it now?
Mhm.
Hmm. Do you think it's possible to, even inside of a hard moment, a hard training session, a hard game, to still have confidence and belief in ourselves, even if like we're messing up or things aren't going our way? How do we do that? Or how do you do that?
Yeah. I think now that like I can realize that like a hard session is like what's gonna get me better and it pushes me out of my comfort zone. So if I can just like pinpoint something to base my confidence off of, like a controllable objective, it helps me a lot and it gives you like stable confidence.
Hmm. How are you going to use that as you go back on the field? Because you're not going to be the same player right from the get-go. You're going to have to build back to it. So how do you use that when you start playing
Um,
after your injury?
Trying to just like be patient with myself.
Mental skills doesn't make that go away, but what does mental skills work make it
Um,
possible to do?
Mental skills like makes it possible to like control your confidence and like
Mhm.
kind of like regulate yourself. And it doesn't like make challenges go away, but it makes them like easier.
What's your definition of self-awareness?
Just like kind of it's like noticing what zone you're in and like noticing if you're being like an inner coach or inner critic. It's just kind of like being aware of yourself, being
Hmm.
aware of like your mental state.
Being aware of what thoughts are going on in your head, right? Yeah. So prior, where was your self-awareness, 1 through 5? And then after, so now we still have work to do, obviously, but where are you at now?
I
And where were
think
you before?
before it was like a 2, and now it's probably like a 4 or like a 4.5.
The next one's bravery. So like courageousness.
I was probably like a 2.5 at the start and probably like a 4 now. Bravery is kind of like it's not being confident in yourself, but it's being not afraid to like make mistakes and that will like gain you confidence if you're not afraid to get setbacks and stuff. I think that is gonna like help a lot if you aren't afraid to like make mistakes. Then you
Mhm.
like will just be able to play how you can play.
Yeah. I was talking to a parent the other day, and you tell me what you think about this, but I was like, oh, that sounds so right. I'm so glad you said that. He said that he was watching his daughter's game, and the player that scored the most goals in the game for the team was also the player that had the most turnovers and the most mistakes. What do you think about that? Do you think that sounds pretty accurate?
there's a difference between making like sloppy mistakes and making like aggressive mistakes. So she was
Mhm.
probably just trying to score, but made mistakes. But then she didn't give up when she thought she made a mistake.
Yeah, she was probably playing with some serious bravery, is my guess,
Mhm.
right? Not afraid to take risks. Because if you only take like two chances in the whole game, there's a high chance that neither one of them works out. But if you take 20 and three of them work out and 17 of them don't, still sounds pretty good, doesn't it?
Mhm.
All right, this one, focusing on the controllable aspects of the game. Where were you before and where are you at now?
Honestly, I was probably like at a one before.
Huh?
It
Yeah?
wasn't, I just like didn't notice that I was doing it. But now I think I'm probably like at like a 3 or 3.5 because the refs still frustrate me.
Mhm.
But I think I'm getting better.
However you feel is okay, right? Like we need to feel feelings in order to, if you miss a goal, like it's okay to be frustrated or disappointed, isn't it? Like
Mhm.
it's okay to want our teammates to try hard, isn't it? I mean, if you're in front of the goal and you miss a wide open goal and you don't care, that's a problem because you're not going to be able to be motivated enough to improve, right? But the difference would be, let's say you're in front of the goal and you miss a goal, you could be frustrated, you could be disappointed. But what's the difference, like between how you think or feel about yourself? Like if you did everything that you could control, but something happened, it didn't go in, do you still be like, is it like I'm bad, or is it just like, that was unfortunate? Like, what's the difference now?
Now that I know that like I can't fully control it, like I sometimes I might get frustrated, but I think I get less frustrated now that I know like I can't really control
Hmm. Well, yeah, even if it was something that you did, you could be like, okay, what's the thing I can control for next time for it to be different? I figure out what that is, right? It's like, okay, that wasn't the best, but let me figure out what I can control, come back, and next time I'm going to take it on. Mental skills isn't saying you have to agree with them or just forget about it or it doesn't matter.
it.
What it's saying is that you notice that you're distracted, and then you're like, okay, I am not going to let that control what I do right now. Correct?
Yeah.
Right? Because you're probably, if you get frustrated with rough calls, here's my guess, you're always going to get frustrated with rough calls, right? But the difference
Mhm.
is that you're going to be able to move yourself through the moment better and not get like stuck on the rough call. What do I mean by that?
Instead of like saying like we lost that game because of the ref, you can just like kind of notice why you actually did lose the game, other than saying it's the ref's fault. And you can kind of like notice what the ref is doing, but you can also notice like how you can change the game.
So, what about on field confidence?
I think my on-field confidence before was like probably like a 2 or 3 because it's pretty unstable. Like I would have really high moments and really low moments, but now I think it's like a solid 4. It's like I'm pretty stable.
Yeah. Why is that so important to like hold yourself accountable to doing the work, but not being cruel to yourself? Like, why is that balance like so key?
It's like self-compassion, but
Hmm.
also being self-driven.
Hmm.
Because if you have to have both, you can't be so nice to yourself and you can't drive yourself without being nice. So you have to have both.
We can get ourselves to the point where instead of just hoping that we play well, there are certain things that we can do to prepare to make it so that we actually have a baseline of playing well and consistent. Do you feel like that's something that you've gotten from this? Like, are you going to be able to kind of lift that, like, even on your bad days or more just going to be like off days?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'll be able to like notice when practices were just challenging and how I'm getting
Mhm.
better other than I'm doing awful. Like when I do bad, I just know that like it was just a hard training and I'm getting better.
Right there. That is so key, right? Like sometimes we're inside of a hard training session and we're like, I don't understand this. I'm terrible at this. I keep making mistakes. If we have that attitude in the training session, we get nothing out of it. But what you just said is, I'm like, okay, this is hard. I'm going to make errors. It's okay. Why is playing perfect literally impossible? Like, how do we know that now?
Because like it's like out of your control. Like there's so many control uncontrollable objectives. Like you have to control like the other team and like the field conditions and like everything to play perfect. And if you play perfect, that means the other team has to make a mistake every time, and that means your
Mhm.
team has to give you a perfect pass every time.
Mhm. There's
So
just too many things that will never line up that would have to exist in order for perfection to happen. All that you can do is all that you can do.
mhm.
And that's where success comes from, right? What about we'll say creativity. Where do you think that one's going to land? Where you were before and where you are now or going to be?
I think before I was probably like at a two. Now I think I'm at like a four because I really like just like showing moves and stuff and like taking
Mhm.
shots. So I think I've gotten like a lot better with creativity.
Sometimes the win is just the act of
Yeah.
attempting it. Like, what do you think about that idea?
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing on doing a 1v1 move is like getting over the fear of doing it. Because if you're like nervous that you'll mess up, then you're just not going to do it. Because obviously, if you never try it, you're going to mess up the first time you do it.
Mhm.
So I think that's like the biggest thing doing 1v1 moves is just like doing it.
Yep, that's the win, which is kind of neat. It's all about redefining success, right? And sometimes, why is that hard to do for a lot of players, do you think? Like define success that way?
Because I think like a lot of players just don't know that like they can't control being perfect.
Mhm. It does that stop them from progressing forward and moving towards being that player they want to be? Yeah.
Because it's they can do it, they just won't let themselves.
Hmm. Even if you shoot a bunch and it doesn't go in, I know it's frustrating, like you said, but why is that still forward progression?
Because like say if in a game like the first shot doesn't always go in. So like just because that one shot doesn't go in doesn't mean there's gonna be no goals the whole game. So like
Mhm.
but if you don't take a shot, it's not gonna go in. So you just have to try and take a shot.
Mhm. What do you think? Uh, Strongest piece of your mental game right now? If we,
I think is probably self-awareness because I think like that's like the biggest part of mental skills is just kind of like seeing where you are. And I think also believing myself and like having confidence and being creative.
what's the most surprising thing that you got out of this program? Maybe a thing that you didn't know that we were going to talk about, or that you didn't even think was a part of mental skills, but was just kind of really taught you a lot about yourself.
I think the first one was really big when it was like there was a person and a player because like
Mhm.
off the field you're different. So I think like that one taught me the most about like myself off the field. Because like if you make a mistake on the field, you know like it won't change the person who you are.
Do you think that, like, in general, you're going to be able to play with more freedom, creativity, bravery, like not holding yourself back? Like, do you think that that is something that this program has helped you be able to potentially do when you're back on the field?
I think so, yeah. I think like having like all these tools will just like they kind of like vary, and I think there's like a tool for like everything. So
Mhm.
if you do this, like whatever like thing, whatever comes up, like you'll kind of be ready for it.